afternoon, good evening. Yes, 7 continents in the world, over 7 billion people. Some are already about to sleep, some are midday, some are just waking up. Yes, it's Atlantic Discuss. It's a no-holds-barred interview. We talk about humanity, things that reverberate and affect mankind daily. Today, we look at the immigrant population in the United States of America. We're looking at humanity also. We're looking at marriages, why there's an upsurge in collapse and breakups, in a nutshell, divorce among people that migrate from Africa to the United States. Cardinal issue here is, or more like focal point, we're looking at Nigerians. And we have a guest, a fantastic one, like we always do, somebody that's true to type, true to power, says it the way it is, an expert at this topic. He has provided solutions in the past. He knows where the problem is. And that's why we're bringing him here, somebody that always fits the billing. So today we have Dr. Sola Jordan Adeoye. Dr. Sola, welcome to Atlantic Discuss.
Thank you very much, sir. God bless you.
Dr. Sola is a relationship expert and a motivational speaker. I mean, I'm sure it's not new to some of you. So for this kind of topic, there's really nobody else, and in our tradition, we go for the jugular always, and we hit the road. And so our first question, Dr. Sola.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think there's an upsurge in separation rate among couples? You've seen people marry 15 years, they migrate within 6-8 months, everybody goes their separate ways. Some even leave the children they claim they love behind and move on. Possibly some go back to Nigeria, some go back to another woman. It's like everything they've built in the last 15, 18 years just goes down the drain. Why is there an upsurge at a very alarming rate?
Thank you, Brother Balugo.
Yes, sir.
I really appreciate you inviting me to come on your show. we give God the praise. And now, when we're looking at divorce is not something new. Divorce has been there for a long time. Very, very long time. Me coming from Africa to the US in 2003, the first church I attended was a white church. And this pastor started talking about divorce. And I was like, wow, these people are going to hell. Why will you be talking divorce here? Once you are married, you're supposed to stay married until death do you part.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So I was able to learn some new things from them. So I started talking about divorce in 2008. During that time, we were using MySpace. That was before
MySpace, yeah.
All right. So I happened to be one of the first people that Facebook gave the opportunity to do live videos.
Brilliant.
All right. So I started talking about divorce a long time ago. And I was working for a church there in CAC church. And they thought that this guy must be depressed. And this guy must be going through some mental breakdown. Something is wrong with his mental health.
For talking about divorce.
For talking about divorce and stuff. And I was talking about divorce. I was begging them. I said, I am actually more like a local government chairman. I mingle with the people. I'm not up here. I'm always down with the people. I'm kind of like, I love my ministry to be like the ministry of Jesus. So I interviewed the women and I interviewed the men too. So I noticed that the men are no longer at home. And they're always on the street, somewhere here, somewhere there, somewhere everywhere. And the women are crying and we're asking them to come and pray. Whereas we're supposed to teach them principles, not prayer. So the reason is this. Once you leave Africa, Africa is a place where we use biblical laws to tie people down in relationship. We preach to them about God hate divorce, Malachi chapter 2, verse 16. That's what we quote. But we have refused to go to Matthew 19:9 that says it's possible for you to divorce and remarry if there is sexual immorality. All right? We don't want to teach about that. We want to stick to God hate divorce. God hate divorce. So once we get married, we want to just continue to be there, even if it's abusive relationship, we don't care. Because God hate divorce. But coming into America, the land of opportunity, the land where your eyes will be open, we all realize that they've been teaching us something wrong in Africa, that divorce actually is biblical. That you can divorce and then remarry if there is abandonment or there is sexual immorality. Number two, the women are now more exposed. They're going to school, they're becoming doctors and lawyers and stuff. So now they are more independent now compared to before, where they have to, in those days, they need to depend on their husband for their lives. They must do this, but now it's a different ballgame. So women are making money. They are independent now. And now the Yoruba people will say, so women are now they're asking questions now. And now the problem on the side of men is adaptation. Nigerian men, it's difficult for us to adapt to the system here in the US, in Canada, and in the UK. In Africa, a man is more or less the ruler. He's a king of his own house. All he needs to do is when he's coming from outside, everybody inside will be running and hiding. All right? And by the time he gets into the house, it doesn't matter what time, the woman's supposed to embrace him, give him his food, have sex with him, no questioning, nothing. But here in the US, America is a leveler. Husband and wife, they're partners. So if you go out, I'll go out too. Whatever you do, I'll do. Because we are partners in this relationship. For men to now see that part of it, that you have empowered your wife, and now your wife is you, for you to still accept it, that, okay, we are partners, is a problem for men right now. And that is why majority of these homes are going down. And then divorce is now the order of the day. And divorce lawyers are millionaires.
Wow. Yeah, but does divorce solve those problems? Is there no way to mitigate it or reconciliation? I mean, if men
divorce is a lifesaver. Divorce is a lifesaver.
Why do you say that, sir?
God will not put you in a home whereby you die there. I come from this angle right here. I don't recommend divorce instantly unless there is physical abuse. Once there is physical abuse in that relationship, I will activate separation instantly. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm praying. Oh, I want to cancel somebody. No, I won't do that. We went for a conference many years ago. I happened to be a very young pastor then. It was in a white congregation. And there were 6 other Nigerian bishops and pastors there. So the man asked the question, said, if your church member should call you in the middle of the night and say, oh, pastor, my husband is about to kill me. He said, what exactly will you do? The first bishop said, I'm going to pray with my wife and I sent the Holy Ghost down there and the Holy Ghost will deliver her in Jesus' name. The white man shook his head. And then he asked the second guy. The second guy said the same thing. The third guy said, so when it was my turn, I said, I would tell that lady to get in Uber. Get out of that house instantly. Go to your family house, go to your friend's house, go to the hotel, stay there with your kids. In the morning, I will come and pick you up with my wife. We'll go back to your house and see if it's actually something we could rectify. If it's not, let him stay separately, you stay separate until we are able to get to the bottom of everything. Now, once there is physical abuse, the guy asked me, the guy was like, are you a Nigerian? I said, yes. So how did you manage to learn these things? I said, it's common sense. A lot of Nigerian pastors don't get common sense. They just quote scriptures just without any foundation. Now, if I tell you how many of my clients died in the last 5 years, they were killed in relationship. All of us, we see videos of women being beat up in relationship and stuff being killed, right? Osinachi is one of the examples, if you don't remember. Osinachi is one of the examples of someone who died in abusive relationship. The man in Ibadan, there's a man in Ibadan who got killed by the wife. The man got stabbed. They took him to the hospital. The pastor said, go to the house with your wife. If somebody should stab you, and then you're not telling the person, go to the house, you're actually sending that person to be killed. So there are situations whereby separation is the key, is the way out. Number 2, divorce is actually going to be a lifesaver if at the end of the day you are in a relationship whereby there is no love, no connection, no chemistry. And no matter what you do, the man is no longer in love with you. You can't force a person to remain in relationship. You can't force somebody to love you. And as a matter of fact, do you know, based on the law of America, a man could be forced to perform his own role under the law.
Really?
Under
How
the
is
law.
that?
Because a man can be forced to pay bills.
True.
A man can be forced to pay child support.
True.
A man can be forced to pay spousal support.
True.
But a woman cannot be forced to love the man. A woman cannot be forced to be nice to the man. A woman cannot be forced to have sex with a man. A woman cannot be forced to do anything with a man. But a man can be forced to perform his own role in the United States of America. And once the law is actually in place, there's nothing that man could do. He could flip. If at the end of the day, the woman is the one working, and then divorce is actually in place, they could actually ask the woman to pay spousal support to the man also. All right? But the issue is just that if the kids are staying with the woman is actually going to be collecting child support right after. So now think about that stuff. No, there is no part of it that favors a man. Now, the issue is this. Divorce being a lifesaver, it could be the man that is suffering in that relationship that wants to get out. Once you get out from there, you will be able to think. Once you are in abusive relationship, you become stagnant. You cannot move. All right? Whatever it is that is making sense to you before will not make sense to you again. Then you won't be able to go to school because your mental health has been compromised. All right? Then sometimes people just sit down there depressed, crying, waking up, go to work, come back, cry, and they're not making any progress. All right? They might be trying, but they're not making any progress. Once they get divorced, it's actually very easy for them to quickly go back and do therapy. Once therapy is done, they get healed, they can go right back to start building their lives again. Look at it. A lot of Nigerian women who got divorced in America, the second year of divorce, you see them changing. They lose weight. The third year of divorce, you find out that they just finished, they graduated from college or probably nursing program or whatever. And the fourth year, they bought a new house and a new car. And that is how they start showing pictures of how they are glowing on social media. Why? Because the divorce was killing them before. But now they are no longer married. The situation in their life has been solved. And now they've taken therapy. They've gone back to repackage themselves. And now they are representing themselves. What they couldn't do before, they're now doing right now. Now, before divorce, there's supposed to be a moment of counseling. Nigerians run away from counseling, especially men. I really don't know what they think. Do they think counseling is actually a lawsuit or what? But counseling is more of we sitting down, either there is problem or there's no problem in the relationship. Let's sit down and look at our marriage and see what we need to fix, what we need to encourage, what we need to do more of. All right? Now, marriage is supposed to be run as a business. All right? Marriage is a business. Marriage is not something we do. Just do it as everyday thing. There must be plans and goals and vision. What do we want to achieve in 20 years? Where do we want to see ourselves? What do we want to see ourselves in 20 years, in 15 years? You have to have that plan. And then you have to have everyday plan that will be able to get you towards that direction every year. My wife and I sat down for 2024, and this is November right now. If I show you all the achievement of what we did, what we put down in 2023, that we must have achieved in 2024, we're done with everything. Because you have to be intentional. Once your marriage is not dynamic, that is, your wife seeing her own part of result, you are seeing your own part of result, because it's 100% investment that the two of us are putting into the marriage. And children, they are not the profit of marriage. They are just the blessing of marriage. They will meet you in the marriage and they will leave you in the marriage. Then by the time they leave, it's going to be only you and that guy. Only you and that woman that will be left in it. That's the time you will know. Maybe you have been using children as a blocker. Really, you are not progressing. You are only looking at mommy-daughter role or mommy role as if to say you are progressing. You're not. Until they leave you, once they leave you, that's when you realize that you have been empty all this while. So divorce is a lifesaver. But before divorce, we always shoot for counseling. And sometimes when we do counseling, and we find out that the counseling is not just going to work right there, we shoot for separation for a while. All right? Husband lives somewhere else, wife lives somewhere else. Work on it, work on yourself, let him work on himself. And then we can reconnect you guys back after a while to see if the marriage is going to work or not.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jordan, Dr. Sola Jordan Adeoye. You know, it's living true to billing already, saying it the way it is. You know, immigrant family, why the separation rate is high, the upsurge is just unbelievable. But so let's talk about communication and conflict and the role sex plays. You know, before this interview, I was trying to speak to men I spoke to like 3 that have been divorced, and 2 of them were laying so much emphasis on sex that the sex was stagnant, it was not dynamic, was the same thing. And one of them, I think, cheated and he never looked back. And the other 2 said that when they got married, when they left their wife, they started dating Black Americans and they find them more comforting in the area of sex and communication. So my question is the communication poor between African or Nigerian immigrants in America, or it's just that the sex is just a cardinal thing that if you can't beat it, you join it, or you have to expand, or because I've seen men that their wives have higher libido than their husband, and most times men do have. But how do we merge all this? Because it doesn't always get violence, because sex plays a major role. What do you think about that, sir?
Do you want me to tell the truth?
That's why you're here. No holds barred. Say the way it is.
All right. And I'm going to tell the truth here. A Nigerian man married to a Nigerian woman. Put them on one side, and then put a Nigerian man married to a Black American woman or a white woman. Put them on one side. Put cameras in those homes and sit down in a place and monitor what goes on down there. You will see how many times the Nigerian guy would disrespect his Nigerian wife. Because in Africa, we don't value women. But one thing that is actually so funny is that we know the laws, we know the rules. So once the same Nigerian man gets married to a Black American, they start behaving correctly. You would think Nigerian men are not romantic. Go and ask the Black American community. They're going to tell you that Nigerian men are the most romantic set of people in this wide world. They know how to buy rose flowers. They know how to take you out for dinner. They know how to pay bills. They can cook for you, clean your car, do everything. Everything. Even when they owe child support, Nigerian men, they will not wait until the end of the month to pay. They pay in between. Yeah. But when it's now with a Nigerian woman, they disrespect that woman.
Why is that?
See finish.
See finish. Oh, wow.
And then where we are from, our foundation, we don't value women. Then you see Yoruba, there's a Yoruba word that says "Obìnrin lásán." You see that word alone. If we refuse to change it now, it will affect our daughters. There is nothing like ordinary woman. The same woman that you're looking at, we were both together when we were in primary school. We were in the same class. We were in the same class. We took the same exam when we were going to secondary school. It was the same cutoff. Then we were in the secondary school together in the same class, being taught science together. And then we took JAM, the same question, not different questions. The same question in the same exam room, and the cutoff point for medicine was 760. And we both got to that cutoff point. And we both got admitted to the university. And we were under the same roof with the same professor all through our time in college, all the way to housemanship and stuff. And then by the time we got a job, we were interviewed the same question, the same standard. But why is it that when it now gets to marriage, a woman is obìnrin lásán? Do you see what I'm talking about now? Now, in those days, when you have a female, a daughter, everybody says, "Oh, one lie, oh, they did this." They don't celebrate that. And when it's a man, they say, "Oh, yeah, Kologi don't be." Then they start celebrating that one, making a female or a girl, a baby girl, to feel inferior to a son. Because I'm a man doesn't make it different. It doesn't mean that I'm better than my wife. My wife is actually better than me because I don't know English. She's better in English than myself. She will correct my English every time I speak it. Don't. So she's in her own class. So if me as an African man could look at my wife and say, "This one is me," so the respect I'll give me is what I give her. And so the respect my family will give me is what they give to my wife. So once we begin to take this...
So blaming it on sex is just an afterthought for men, sir?
The sex thing?
Yeah.
The sex thing, I'm getting there.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, no problem.
No, I'm getting to that point. I'm just building right now.
No problem.
They won't understand if I cut it on the head. They won't get it.
All right. No
Okay.
problem.
So you see all of this stuff as going. So if I respect, if I give my wife the same respect that I'm giving myself, and my family members are giving my wife the same respect they give me, it will make marriage to be balanced, and there's going to be so much respect. And that's exactly what we do when we go to Black American community. We respect them, and then they respect us back. Now, all of these things from the beginning made women, African women, not to be able to flaunt their sexuality. They were killed when they were young. Religion played a very major role in what is going on sexually in relationship, in marriage thing. In those days, you can't talk about sex. Even till today, I'm talking about my pastor in CNC. If you say sex to him, he will disappear. It will be like he will enter into the ground. They don't call it sex, they call it fellowshipping. Just to make it holy, to make it look holy, fellowshipping. So all of this stuff, do you know? I ran a program one time and I found out like about 80% of Nigerian women have never tasted orgasm before.
Oh, wow.
That some men were asking me, can a woman come? I was like, what? Because of lack of education. You can't openly talk about it. They will rebuke you. You cannot even perform. Your husband will say, when did you start all this? Who taught you this nonsense? You must be a devil. You are a prostitute, right? You can't do it. A woman cannot suggest to the husband, this is how I want it. Can I be on top? A woman wants to be on top, right? A man will quickly spiritualize it and say, I will be the head and not be the tail in Jesus' name. At the end of the day, we're just talking about it in the sex environment for the woman to be on top. Now, a woman didn't get to learn the act. And that is why our African men are being taken away to the white and the Black American community. Majority of our women believe giving sex is just lying down. Now, what they didn't teach you, you cannot know. Some people, when they were growing up, they watched porn. All right, even Christians, I caught my media department people when I was in CAC. My media department people, they were watching porn inside the cubicle. I caught them. So it's not about Omogboro or the people inside church, they're doing the same thing. Some people watch porn, they learn from it. And then they overlearn that stuff and kill themselves. Because porn itself is an act. It's not real. They stop, they cut, they stop, they cut. So you think they have that energy is there all the way through? No. And then they take sex boosters to be able to enhance what they're doing. You don't have anything. You are trying to compare yourself with them. You could destroy your life. There's so many of those women, they were married as a virgin. They didn't get to date a lot of people. They don't understand. They have not been exposed to that kind of stuff. The majority of the men are not exposed to Africans. They don't understand how to treat a man, a woman. Do you know some men, they just want to stick it in and start doing, ha, 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 who's your daddy? That the woman must to cry for them to know they're doing a good job. And sex is not punishment. Sex is pleasure. If you look at her with love, you talk to her with love. Whatever it is you do with love. Let her have that memory. It's not about the crying. So for a Nigerian man, they believe a woman must to cry. So it's not like you are actually putting punishment on her for her to cry and say, yeah, I'm pushing you away. When a woman is pushing you away, it means you are doing a good job. No, you don't know sex. So a man's supposed to open his wife up, but we are not doing it in the Nigerian setting. So once the Nigerian men, when they get into the hands of the Black American women or the white or the Caribbean women, those women, they know how to organize themselves. They are free. They talk about sex openly. All right, that sexuality is exposed. When you see a 60-year-old Black American woman, she's still looking very sexy. The way she dress, she carry herself. Compare her with the 60-year-old Nigerian woman. She's already carrying Bible all around and doing all kinds of stuff. And why won't the husband run away? I've been noticing that now, marriages of 25 years, 23 years, 27 years are breaking easily now. And everything is based on sex, 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 sex. What are we being taught in church? All what we're taught in church is just to be holy and be like angels. That's not the only reason why we go to church. A church is a place where we get informed. There's supposed to be a marriage department whereby people are being taught how to get married for real. And we go from communication to respect to sex to financial commitments and all that stuff. And we break everything down the godly way to a Christian, so that when they get married, they won't fail. They won't be depending on the Holy Spirit to teach them how to have sex. They won't be depending on the Holy Spirit to teach them how to save money. They will learn all these things right there from the classes that we're going to be holding. So sex is actually a major cause right now, Rabbi Luke. Major. We will not talk about it. When we go to church, the pastor will say, what happened? They will say, hey, beloved, and ask him, because we are not given that opportunity to talk freely. In Nigerian churches, we can't talk freely. Once you do it, they tag you to be a prostitute or a wayward person. So sex is a major thing. And to rectify that, the women, the men, we have to be open to take sex classes. You can't know it all. Some men, they have very big equipment, but they don't know how to use it. So the wife is not enjoying it. There's no orgasm. There's nothing. You only carry a weapon of punishment that you don't even know how to use. Some people's equipment is small and they think it's useless, but it's not. It's about you learning how to use it. And there are so many principles that we have. Normally, I take my laptop to homes, whereby couples will sign me on. I'll go there, I'll put my laptop to the ground, I'll teach them step by step. When we come to church, we don't want to talk about oral sex because we believe oral sex is ungodly, but it's not. The moment is actually with the person you are legally married to, spiritually married to. It's got nothing to do with angels. That's the way you please each other. That's the way you please each other. And now, I think people should register. Knowledge is something they need to acquire. You have to ask for knowledge, buy wisdom, to learn to be able to get your wife there and your husband there also. I want to let you know, women are lacking. Nigerian women are lacking when it comes to sex. Many of them can't even demand for it. You know what I would do to a man who is always demanding for sex all the time? A day will come that he will tell himself, it seems like I'm the only one in this marriage. I don't think she wants me. So men too, they want to feel special. That you demand from them, I want you tonight. I want you, even if you can't say it, just sit with him and touch him and rub his chest, and kiss him on the lips. You're sending signal to him. That will make him feel wanted. Now, if you reject a man 3 times, he will not ask you the 4th time because of the pride and the ego of a man. All right? We know that we are the hunter. We hunt. But when we are hunting and we're being rejected, then we stop hunting. And then probably we take our gun and go and hunt somewhere else. And somewhere is already open to you because you don't have to hunt for a long time, that you get it with the society of today. So a lot of Nigerian women should understand it, that when they touch you, you shouldn't use sex as a weapon of punishment in relationship, because what that would do, it will make the man to actually resort into masturbation. He's not willing to go outside and step out to go and cheat, so he start masturbating. And then at the time, he will now feel like, I think I need the real thing. And that's why he's going to go outside and get it done. And before you get to know it, will ruin that relationship and destroy it totally.
Yeah, so I've heard people, some men have said, and I've heard even online, I've read some books, and people have said that it's difficult for a man to be monogamic, that especially African men, that they are polygamists by nature. Can this be backed up from your experience or your exposure or any therapy you've done?
It's just like, it's like you are on my show this morning.
I wasn't actually, but
all these questions were just like exactly that was my question.
Oh wow, I did with it.
Now, you see, with the kind of way God designed men, all this while we'll be able to tame men because we designed a man-made law that we actually connected to God. And every time, you see, the Bible, God didn't give the authority of a man to another man. Another man is not supposed to be able to control you because the control of your life is not given to a man. God only gave the control of other things he created, not the man. So for us to control men, we have to create that higher God. And then we have to make some rules and laws and everything, and we connect those laws to him. So once we say, thus says the Lord, they can't question us because they are not hearing God. We are the one hearing God. So we are the only ones that could control them because we are put in position of hearing God alone by ourselves. So we only come to them and say, thus says the Lord. And then they'll say, what? Go and fast for 70 days. Then everybody will go and fast for 70 days without asking questions. It's because we are connecting it to God. The moment you say, okay, Shola say go and fast, they will say, clearly, why? Why should we fast? Okay, because their control is not in my hand. It's not in my hand. Now, that's the reason why we create jobs. So a man can control another man, he must be the one paying him salary. His life depends on this guy, so he can be under control. You understand? So once we now create marriage, marriage is now created now to put women under control. Do you get the point? So
yes,
under control, and that's how we start taking control of people from there. And then even children too. They stay under the control of their family because they need to connect to mommy and daddy to pay school fees and all of these stuff. So it's a design, it's a control that we all have right there. Okay. So now going back to your question, can you remind me of that question one more time?
Yeah, polygamy. I meant.
Thank you. So it's control. So when you now go back to the Bible, you find out that from the beginning of the Bible, every man, the first guy who got married to 2 wives is Lamech. So the appetite to have multiple wives is inside of men. Who created men? Not the devil. God created men. Okay, and he even said to David, he said, I didn't mean you wanted more wives. I could have given you. That was God that said that. Okay, and when he now came into the New Testament, Jesus Christ came, we believe, oh, he came, he didn't have a wife, da, 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 da. Some people were saying, maybe Mary Magdalene was his girlfriend. And some said, no, he cannot be his God. God doesn't need a wife. He's a complete person. We started proving all kinds of stuff. And then a time came that the people there started behaving like us. They started asking questions. All right, what's the problem? What is marriage about? And Paul now said to them, he said, if you cannot hold yourself, that you were born with passion, go and marry your own wife. Because the man said wife. Everybody believed he said only one wife, only one wife. Well, that's fine, all right? But when Paul now wanted to talk, he now said, if you ever want to be a bishop, you must be a man of one wife. Which means he wasn't talking to the congregation. He was talking to the bishop. And the reason why he was talking to the bishop like that, you remember he said it before, he said, remain single like me so that you can concentrate. So for bishop to be able to concentrate, one woman, one problem. For bishop to be able to concentrate, he actually asked them, said, please marry one wife to concentrate, to be able to focus on the job. So, but the Christianity that we brought to Africa now taught us all of these reasons why we must not, we cannot, and then he put us under the law. And then we have been obeying it. Even though, sir, we are obeying it in the front, at the back. Do you know a lot of married women are actually sleeping with other married men? Do you know that majority of married men, they're having side chick somewhere? When they start taking jobs that will take them to travel, that's the reason for going all around the place. So they are not doing polygamy in the face, they are doing monogamy, but at the back, majority of the men you see, they are polygamous.
That's the adultery.
Well, we come to talk about adultery, which is very, very good. We talk about it as a sin, What is adultery again? What's your definition of adultery?
Well, I mean, if you are married and you have maybe sex with another, that's be it man or woman, adultery. If you are not married and you're a Christian and you have sex with somebody, that's fornication. So I think marriage is the difference between adultery.
I think if I start, we might be here for the next 2 hours.
I can give you 10 minutes to break it down. Okay. People need to learn,
Okay. Now you see, I've been breaking this down to us all this while. Now, see, religion is man-made. You see, spirituality, that's Christianity. It's not a religion, it's a lifestyle. If you say I'm a Christian, you are not supposed to tell me you're a Christian. I'm supposed to know. Anybody that is saying I'm a Christian is not a Christian. That person is trying to prove himself. You're not supposed to prove yourself. We should know that you are a Christian. It's by your heart, your action, what you do. Now, because I don't want to take you too long a journey, do you think everybody you see inside of church is a Christian? No. Some people are just churchgoers, they just come to church, they just stay there. How many percentage of people you see in church actually believe in the laws of God or follow the Bible? Maybe 2%. I follow the Bible. How many of us actually remain we didn't touch our wives all through before we got married to them. Some of us may come to the stage and lie about it. So how many of us were having 7 girlfriends, even though we were Christians going to church, and we want to pick one of them to get married to? Now, so many people inside of church. But I don't see a church as hospital, because people do say church is hospital, but church is not hospital for me. For me, the Bible says, and God was adding daily unto them as many that were saved. So saved people were going to church. The unsaved people, they were meeting them in crusades, in revivals. The crusade is hospital. The revival is hospital, but the church itself is for the saints. It's for people that are already repented, people that are already baptized by the power of the Holy Ghost. Those are the people that are Christians in church. Are you getting the point now?
Yeah.
Now, we talk about adultery. Adultery is part of what the law is saying to us not to do. Adultery. Then the Bible is now making it to be more complicated. You're now saying that if you have thought about it, you've done it. Now we're not looking at it, okay, I'm not doing it for real, but I'm thinking of it. I'm not doing it for real, but I'm thinking of it. Now, the moment your heart is going there, Esther, that's a sin. Even though you have not done it, it's now the same consequence. The same for the two. Thinking and doing it. Now, Jesus Christ now came and I said, you know what, guys? Your body will continue to ask for the things that are carnal. All right? Your spirit is the only one that gets born again, not your body. Your body can never get born again. Your body will continue to ask for carnal things. And that's why Paul said, my spirit and my body, they wage war. What I don't want to do is what I end up doing. Who will deliver me from this flesh? Now, it's so easy for us to say, oh, thou shalt not do this. Thou shalt. As a matter of fact, Brabalugu, 10 Commandments is not for Christians. It's not for Christians.
Who is it for?
It's for people in Judaism. It's a religion. Judaism is a religion.
Yeah.
And that religion is the religion of God through Moses. You know the commandment that we have? Only 2 as Christians. Love God and love your fellow brothers. That's the only thing that we got. And then you will find out that in the 10 Commandments is what you must not do. Thou shalt not. Thou shalt not. But in Christianity is thou shalt. In Judaism is thou shalt not. I forbid you do this. I forbid you do that. So they're under the law. You now say, if I do it, what will you do? I'll cut off your head. So I am not doing that sin. Not because I don't want to. It's just because I don't want them to cut off my head. So I'm thinking of it. And in as much as in my heart, I have committed it, I'm still sinful. And it's actually going to still be the same consequence I'm going to face. And God is now looking down and saying, wow, this is complicated, huh? And he said, oh, I'm going to judge the intent of your heart. Yeah, I don't want to do it, though. But I find myself thinking of it, sir. And I didn't do it for real. So I don't want to do it. It's what God wants to connect to. It's not the actual you thinking of it. The intent of your heart. Then God now said to us, if I continue to leave these people to live their lives like this, they will continue to buy pigeon and goats and everything to make sacrifices. Especially Shola, we actually buy like 50 every day and stuff like that. The one thing I got to do is just to come and make a sacrifice once and so that we don't have to actually make that sacrifice again. That whatever sin they've committed, the one they are committing right now, the one they will commit tomorrow, paid for in full. Just in full. So he had to sacrifice his own blood. And we always talk about Mary being the mother of Jesus. No, Mary is not the mother of Jesus. Mary is just a transporter who they use, because Jesus Christ existed before Mary was actually made. He couldn't mother Jesus, couldn't give Jesus life. He had life. He was the one that gave life to Mary. He only used the womb of Mary that is pure to make that movement to come to the earth.
Fantastic.
That was why you didn't actually hear anything about a father having sexual relationship to give birth to Jesus. No, he only used Mary is not the mother of Jesus. He only used Mary's womb. Come down here. Mary couldn't give him a life.
No holds barred, vintage Dr. Jordan Adeoye. So let me ask you this. There's also another issue that causes divorce, and that's the financial stress and expectation. Sometimes you see now, their families in Africa, they want you to send money, maybe the wife's family and all that, you know. What role does the desire for remittances play in the divorce rate we have, you know? I mean, how can couples also manage their finances properly? You said something about you and your wife planning for 2024. That's fantastic. But there are people out back home, the economy is even bad now, you know, so there's demand. There are people that have 8 siblings. The wife has 8 siblings. The husband has 7. Their mother's father still alive. The demand is actually overwhelming. I'm sure you can bear witness to that. What role does this play in the upsurge in the divorce rate among immigrants?
It has destroyed a lot of things.
Oh, wow.
In Africa, there are so many good things in Africa. You know, when we look at our culture, the culture is rich, beautiful, fantastic. But there are some things that must change from it. While I was in Oklahoma, I was sending money to my parents in Nigeria, and my friend, who happens to be a white guy, he said, Shola, I said, well, why are you sending money to Africa? Money for my mom. He said, she doesn't have a job? I said, yes, she's working. She's collecting pension and stuff. I said, yeah, that should be enough for her. You don't have anything. You don't even have a car. You don't have a house of your own. You're struggling. And look at what you're doing. The money you're supposed to use to actually build your own life to a place where you have enough. And then you'll be able to share then. Look at yourself right here. And let me tell you, sir, I was one of those people who believed that you must make money and send it home. That I didn't go to school. I was working, just to make that money and send it home. I was only lucky my wife wasn't with me. I didn't mean my wife was here, we could have fought. Maybe she would have left and stuff. And this is actually a big thing. Men, African men, we always want to make ourselves look big. Oh, you live in America. So once they ask for 1 million, you give them 1.2 million and all kinds of stuff like that. It's very dangerous. African men and women, we need to sit down, plan. Know where you want to find yourself before you can even start helping people. You see, sometimes when you start helping people prematurely, it might decide to slow down your own reaction, your rate of development and growth. You have to be focused and be intentional about your life first. Now, I've seen many people who died for their family in Nigeria, and they're dead for real. And those families, they are not suffering today, and they are still good. I see people that have been to jail. They stopped sending money to people in Nigeria, and those families are doing well today. He came out of jail, he's got nothing. So we have to be very careful. I'm not saying don't help the people. Focus more on yourself and your children. Let your children enjoy being in America. Don't put them in a basement because you are sending money to your mom and dad in Nigeria. All right? That's why we're educating people for everybody to be intentional about their lives. So your children will not be your life insurance. So you can be able to make money by yourself. And then we as husband and wife up in here, once you have a plan for the year, you cannot go into that plan and be changing it. So it's whatever is left in your account that you can use in blessing your family. If you send $50, $100 to them, $100 is 70,000.
Yes.
Yeah, I really don't think anybody should finish that in 1 month. I don't care what they're eating. Someone like myself, I eat once in a day now. It's not because I'm broke. It's just because I want to just teach myself. Food is not going to be available every time. Endure some certain things. So, you know, we have to be careful. And to be able to, I mean, when we look at this stuff, the rate of divorce right now is actually based on sex, on this issue of Western Union mismanagement of funds, collecting tax refund, tax refund. And then you as a man taking it to Africa and you say you are building a house for grandma, when your family is still suffering here. So make sure you take care of your family first. Buy a nice befitting house. Move out of that basement. Move out of that rented apartment. Buy a nice befitting house for yourself, your children, and your wife, so that they can have the feel of American dreams. All right, so that they can be able to ride their bicycle on the street, so that your wife could actually breathe and you yourself can have peace. Once you are able to do that, whatever is left, you can decide to help somebody from down there or whatsoever, but don't die for nobody. It's one life to live. Live your own life, but remember to take care of them when there is enough and surplus. Bless us.
Prioritize your family. That's good. I have 2 more questions for you before we go. And now the next one is on immigration. You know, some people, husband and wife, they come together, then they scatter. Some they come together, they keep themselves, they maintain it, whether they stop together. Some the husband comes first, some is the wife that is here and all that. There's so many scenarios. in all these scenarios I've mentioned, some have worked, some have not worked. They work for some people, in other words. From your experience in counseling and talking to people, what do you advise? Do you think when they migrate, they should come as a unit together with the kid, or the man should come first, or the women should come first? In some cases, maybe the woman has better income in Nigeria. Maybe she should stay behind. And, the family dynamics are different. I'm sure you agree with me that one of the problems you see is that people compare script with other family, and whereas they're not two same scenarios. So what really do you advise for migrating family, especially from Nigeria?
Yeah, it all depends on people, level of level of education,
Sure.
you know, temperament, nature, connection, very, very important. There's no one size fits all, like we always say. Every one of the process, they have both benefits and the danger part of it. I came to this country alone by myself, without my wife and 2 kids. She was left in Nigeria. For me to come here, because I don't know anybody here, I can't just bring my family to a place where I do not know people. I came at a time whereby people were just started, people started coming into the state. But right now, somebody can leave Nigeria right now and come with the entire family. There will be a family member here that you will know, that you go and live with. Accommodation is always the problem, but somebody will accommodate you and then let you stay in the house for the next 6 months or 1 year by the time you build yourself. So, but when you now look at it that in like family coming together, the problem, the danger that could be associated with that one is if there's no accommodation in place, and the man must to start spending the money he saved in Africa, that money may not last them for 2 months. And then they will run out of money, they can't pay the bills anymore. If it's a matter of me leaving you in Nigeria because you are working for the government and you're making enough money to pay the bills in Africa, let me go and look all around and see where I could be able to put my feet down. And then after that, you guys can come and meet me. Sometimes people say, oh, no. The man is going to cheat. The man is going to cheat. And I always tell them, are you cheating police? Is there any woman that could actually hold a man down from cheating? There is nobody that could do that. Nobody. So if the man decides I don't want to cheat, that's because of his own decision. So a woman can't force a man not to cheat. If they are with you, they can cheat under your roof. If they are gone, they could decide not to cheat also. But always remember, just throw that ball away. Let's see if that ball is going to bounce back. Once it's bouncing back to you, that means that ball is yours. So my wife let me go. And look at me today. She joined me about 9 years ago. And she's doing well, pretty good right now. All right? So for people, it's different. My brother, my sister, all of them came full, as in like full family, straight. Because they already have a place to stay. They have a house to come and destroy. They have a place to eat. They will not think about food. They won't think about anything. For the next 2-3 years, it's family. Family will always take family. Okay? So they came like that. So if you don't have that opportunity, please don't come. And if it's a friend that is promising you to come and then bring the entire family, the guy will get tired in 2 weeks. All right? So you become a nuisance in his house. So I always want to tell my clients, the man is actually a pace setter. Let that man come. Let him go and look for every opportunity to put his feet down. And then you can come over so that you will not risk it to come in a land where you do not know people. So the man will be able to stabilize and bring you guys up in here. All right, but the two of you must be talking. There must be communication. Because it's possible when you stop talking, it's possible for another woman to enter his life, and that's how it's going to actually, disconnect. In some family, if you have the visa, let everybody come at the same time. The wife may be lucky to get job first, and the husband may get the job first too. But whatever it is that happens, they'll be able to sustain the family all through. That's it.
Yeah, the men folk, I was talking to some friends yesterday, so I said I was going to talk to you today. And one of them said, I should ask you this question, that, and based on what you said when it gets violent, the woman should walk. That most of the time, it's always the man that is violent. It doesn't mean there are no violent women too, but most of the time it's the man. What are the reasons? The question is, what are the reasons that will make a man, legitimate reasons that will make a man walk away from his marriage? What will the woman have to do that will make a man walk? Reasons, I'm putting S now. I'm sure maybe Can you tell us something?
A man is designed and wired for respect. Respect. Lack of respect will kill a man. It will feel like he's not a man. you will feel insulted and disrespected. Once you tamper with the ego of a man and you take respect away from him, that man could walk away, just to be sane. Number two is don't cheat on a man. In the head of a man, he believes he's the king, the lion. Why would somebody else come over and steal in my territory? A man may not be able to. Maybe 2% of men will stay. Like 89% or 88% of men will walk away from such a relationship. They can't sleep with that same woman again. If they try to sleep with that woman, that memory will haunt them. That stuff will come and haunt them, and their manhood may not be able to perform at that point in time. Another thing that will make a man to walk away from a relationship is when there is lack of support. Lack of support. In the Western world here, the environment or the society is not built on the power of one man. A woman is supposed to be there to help the man. You can't be pushing me to buy a house, so you must be helping me to pay the bills. So here is supposed to be partnership. 100% of your income into 100% of my income will actually make us to have enough money to be able to pay bills and do whatever it is.
No, fantastic. So your last question, this wasn't supposed to come while we're discussing, it just came to my mind. I noticed that collectively, especially those of us from Nigeria, collectively, it's difficult for us to cohabit, whether in business, there's so much disunity. Now, I don't even think it's across tribe, even from the same ethnic stock, there's so much lack of cooperation. And I'm intentional about integrating with people from other African groups, Burkinabes, Gabonese, Togolese, even people from Haiti. And I see that they have better synergy, compared to us Nigerians, on the immigrant level. So why is it so hard for us to cohabit? Is it, are we wired to hate ourselves? Is it unhealthy rivalry? From your professional experience, why do you think we're like that? Even in churches, you see undue, they watch you, there's too much stereotypicalism in, if you understand what I'm trying to say. They profile you. That was the word I'm trying to,
yeah, I know.
The car you drive, clothes you wear.
In the actual sense, we are really actually cohabiting. Nigerians, it's just not a lot.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
We have groups that were about 120 people in that group, and we're doing great things. We're putting our money into real estate, and we're doing it, and nobody's fighting nobody. I have groups whereby we go and do, couples retreat together, couples vacation together, and we've been doing it for the past probably like 6-7 years now, and every one of us were still together. So we do things together. My wealth craft business is 4 of us that started it, and we are not related. 4 of us started that business, and it was still going. So, but the bulk of if you look at the in the face of the in the big picture, you find out that there's so many Nigerians, they don't want to work with other people because of the way and attitude. The attitude of people and the way they will actually deal with issues later down the road. People may actually be invited into a group, and they may be the one to destroy that group by actually creating carcasses inside of that place. So people want to run away from there. They don't want that. Sometimes they listen to your story just because they want to mess you up somewhere. The enemy thing is a lot in our own society. For us to be able to break it, it's going to be difficult. Everybody is seeing everybody to be his enemy. This person is my enemy. To the fact that we don't want to marry someone from Ijebu, or your people don't want to marry from Egba. Egba people don't want to marry from Ilorin people. And then we now ask why. They say because my great-grandfather entered into a fight with somebody there. And me, I'm not my great-grandfather. Why are we still living that life till today? You see, it's just like the way we do in church. It's that same way we're doing in real life. We create enemies. Now, when I moved to this neighborhood, I was like running away from Nigerians. I was like, no, I don't want to live around Nigerians. And at the end of the day, 2 Nigerians now move in front of my house. So am I going to run away now? Where am I going to run to? Am I going to run to heaven? And stuff like that. So I think it's time for us right now, because that's what has been preventing us from achieving. That's what is preventing us from becoming very big when it comes to a country, impact that we're making. You will find out that Nigerians are very brilliant people. In America, we're actually number 1. We're on the top of the scale. But working together is our problem. And that's why we're going to be great, to work together. Everybody wants to go by because I don't believe in what this guy is saying. I don't have to believe in you to be a part of you. I don't have to believe in your ideas to be a part of it, because sometimes, somewhere, that idea will cross with mine. And I could learn from you, you could learn from me. But we zero our mind and say, okay, stop being rubbish. He's not talking what I'm talking. So they don't believe they could learn from him. Okay? For me, I listen to everybody. I go and listen to all pastors. I pick what is good out of all of their preachings, and I utilize it. Okay? So we all Nigerians supposed to understand that I'm sorry, I'm speaking Yoruba. Because we refuse to work together, that's why we're suffering. The Indian community are ruling in America. The Chinese community are ruling in America because they have Chinatown. They have Indian town. Okay? They're doing it, and they have people representing them in the state house. Nigerians, we don't, because we have not been able to work together. If we work together, we can build a community in America that will own a lot of real estate investment in America. But because when we see people making it in America, and Nigerians like ourselves, we quickly tag them as 419s. Who say, oh, it's a thief. We say, oh, it's a this. We come to church. When people come to church, they are divorced. We already tag them as a sinner. Oh, they're the sinner. They push them aside. They are not good enough. When that person is driving a Range Rover, we quickly believe that it's a 419. We push them aside. But instead of we learning, how can I become this guy? Let this guy mentor me and teach me how to. And everybody will be rich. I found it out when I was pastoring the church in New York. A church was renting our whole hall. So we are the one that bought the building. So we used the place like between 10 o'clock and 2. So that church will come 4 o'clock all the way to like maybe 8 or whatever. So we just found out that church, everybody in the church, they are driving big, big cars. And we are driving small cars. And we have to sing for 1 hour to get $20. Are you saying? So one day, the man invited me to come and preach. So I went and I sat down. And I was listening to everything they're saying. There is nothing, no bang bang jiggy. Everybody was just calm, cool, like no shouting, no nothing. Like I was to say, I don't get a problem. So when they now invited me to come and preach, I started telling them, every enemy that is coming against your prosperity. And they were looking at me like this. And I just wasted my 1 hour. So after I was done, I actually told the pastor, I said, I would like to come and see you. The guy said, okay. So he gave me a time. So I went to see him in his office, not church. Because I was one who owns the church meeting. So he was renting from me. So I had to go to his business office to go and meet him. So I walked in there, and the guy said, all of those cars that you see outside was bought by the church and given to all church members.
Oh, wow. Wow.
What?
Wow.
He said, we act like we're giving them official cars. So the church is paying the insurance, church is maintaining it, and they're doing it all in the name of 501c, non-for-profit organization status. And everything they do will actually be subsidized.
Wow.
I was like,
only in America.
We didn't know all this. And this guy told me, he said, everybody you see in the church over there, they have over $100,000 each in our real estate business. So you guys still do real estate? Yes. He said, so we decided not to waste our money by building a church. Why don't we just go and rent an existing church with instruments, with chairs?
Which is your own church.
Yeah, which is my church. And then they will come by 4. If that's the time you have time for us, we're fine. Because these people don't have to run after their church members. The church members, they see it as it's an important meeting for me to come. All right. So they come 4 o'clock and they stay there. And you know what? These people will be drinking coffee and eating sandwich during service. And the choir was fantastic. And they finished preaching and they spend their 2.5 hours and then they go home. So they don't have to pay for building. They were only paying us $800 and we were paying $4,000 for the whole building. And they were actually parking big cars. So Nigerians, we are not helping ourselves. And that is why the people in Africa are suffering too. If at the end of the day we have groups and groups of people, then we can actually have NGOs in Africa. And then we actually help a lot more people all over the rural areas in Africa and be able to get them on their feet. But because we that are here in diaspora are not united, There is no way we could do it. And the last thing I want to say to you, the pride in us is too much. I want to look at Balogun and say, my network must be better than his own. Oh, my stuff must be better than his own.
Oh,
At the end of the day, I enter into a competition with you that you don't even know I'm competition with you.
Oh, God.
And because I don't want you to make it, I would not want to do anything with you. You have the idea. There is the money in my pocket. I will intentionally say I'm not interested. Just because I know. If I put my money in there, but you are the one that owns the idea, you will use your profit next time to go and start your own. But I don't want it to happen, so I will deprive you of that opportunity.
Oh, wow.
So
wow,
the pride is too much in us, and we need to work on it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Fantastic. I'm sure you all know that you can reach out to Dr. Sola Adeoye for counseling. You know, you can look at the screen. All his details are there. You can reach out to him. If you are struggling in your marriage, anything like that, if you're a man, you have pride issues, you know, it's quite hydra-headed, you know, in approach. You know, it's a no one solution fix all. He's experiencing it. I mean, there are times I try to call him, he's always counseling, you know, young, middle age, old people. Nobody is too young for this. But I'll ask you this.
I have almost about 75% of young people on my network between 22 and 37.
Wow. Wow. Counseling. Wow. Wow. Fantastic.
They want to do well. They want to do good. They want to do, especially the boys. The boys, they don't want to miss it. So they always sign up for mentorship. Mentorship.
I like that.
They're learning. The
So
problem
was that
go ahead. 45 above. Those are the problems. Those are the problems.
My own people. So let me actually, before we go, do you have any message or hope for husband and wife generally, immigrant families struggling in America and all that? You know, do you have any message of hope for them?
There is a message of hope, guys. Message of hope. We can't continue to live in the past.
Yeah.
We have to understand that year in, year out, as we age, life will change. And the definition of marriage is changing right now. Marriage is not like it used to be like in the days of our fathers. Today we have enlightened and we have empowered our women. They are actually equal to us. We need to get that right. And I want you to know that your prosperity, our own prosperity, could be put together to be the family prosperity. Your money, my money, could be put together to build a solid financial foundation here in America and even anywhere in the part of the world. And I'm telling you, your children will learn from you the love that you guys share together. Daddy washing the plate and doing laundry. Mommy trying to go and service daddy's car. Mommy trying to spoon feed daddy. Daddy helping mommy in the kitchen and they're tickling each other. Those kids will carry that memory through their own lifetime also. And they will not be able to marry less than what they are seeing you. You know, what you offer is what your daughter will go for. What you offer is what your son will go for. So I want to quickly just encourage you guys that the hope that we have is so high. If all of us could be educated in the part or the act of leadership, let me know how to lead. What kind of style of leadership am I going to adopt in this marriage? My marriage is different from yours. Your wife is not my wife. My husband is not your husband. So you have to have the different style of leadership that you're going to use to take care of business. Conflict resolution is another thing you have to learn to be able to settle conflicts. And then counseling is actually major too. Once in a while, just reach out to a counselor and then they take care of it. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. You heard from the expert himself. Do not compare. There are no two same scenarios. They could be similar. They could look alike. It's completely different. It's as easy as if it takes you 5 minutes, 2 seconds to get annoyed, and somebody else 5 minutes, 3 seconds to get annoyed. It's already two different scenarios. It doesn't matter what the issue is. Teamwork is also very important. We're like a chain. There's no weak link. Immigrants, especially of Nigerian origin, it is sad to know that Nigerians are the most educated migrating bloc to the United States of America. 7 out of 10 Black doctors are Nigerians, you know. So you go to the Harvard, the Yale, the Morehouse, all Nigerian students graduating everywhere, cum laude, you know, different awards. So we need to do better. The Irish, the Jews, the Hispanic, they're slaying stereotypes. They're running things. We can do it also. We can do it. It's not all negative. Nobody is anybody's enemy, you know. Let's work together. Dr. Sola, thank you for coming to Atlanta Discuss. I'm sure this not going to be your last time. You're just a fantastic man. You do it the way we want you to say it the way it is. You're true to power. God bless you. And I like the fact that you're Christian at heart. You studied your Bible and you're doing a humanitarian work to unify homes and mentor the new generation of Nigeria. Thank you so much. To all our listeners in the 7 continents of the world, we'll see you next week. Take care. God bless you all. Bye.